Ever witnessed someone so fast on track you doubt you could ever be on their level? The mission of Advanced Motorsports is to demonstrate the speed is achievable for everyone. With the expertise of some of the best sim drivers in North America, we are set to release free content on social media and comprehensive guides on our website. For those seeking the ultimate experience, our Advanced Motorsport Institute and personalized coaching sessions are the way to go. No matter your level of experience, we invite you to follow us on our social media to learn to be fast.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Ready to start another great race in the Precision Racing League. Green flag flies, we're underway. Side by side, door-to-door contact. Incredible action here in the PRL. And they come together. After all the fighting, it ends in tears.
A look over to the flags as we prepare for some stock car racing in two different portions of the Midwest. Tonight we start things off with the PRL Truck Series with a visit to Michigan International Speedway in Brookwood, Michigan. Good evening, everyone. I'm Justin Pritz alongside the booth tonight. Derek Watson, Hugo Weiss producing as we get set for another busy night of stock car Wednesday action here in the Precision Racing League. Lots to talk about when it comes to tonight here, Derek, but we're starting to reach that busy portion of the schedule. The final four races of the season coming through the swing here are coming up. And now it's the matter of seeing who's going to be the most consistent in terms of the championship fight. This is your midway portion here tonight.
Yeah, and consistency, pardon me, is a big word in adjusting, because look at the schedule. Michigan, Richmond, the Glen, the Milwaukee Mile, and Darlington. None of those tracks are like the other. There's no cookie cutter here. There's no consistent repeat track. So if you want to win this title, you're going to have to be great at 5 different styles of racing. Speaking of the title, let's take a look at the points and see where we are, JP. Right now, Brett Adams still holds a pretty sizable lead over Zach Panzarella. Andrew Sharp's in third, Calvert's in fourth, and Patrick Calgill is tied there for fourth with Marty Calvert. Look at that. What a list of new names that's up here.
Yeah, a lot of intriguing names so far for the Truck Series, but it's going to be the question, which name keeps themselves solidified up here? Brett Adams, after all, most wins on the season. Team-wise, mind you, it's also been interesting because DDI Motorsports and Whataback Racing have been going back and forth in these standings. 20 points, that difference entering tonight. Yeah, Philmar also up there. Whataback Racing Hunters, Whataback Racing Final Drive amongst your top 4 organizations. Buster's Buds Racing Club inside the top 5 tonight as well. Battle Bus Racing also in the 200 club. That's a look once more at your standings entering tonight's festivities here on Race Spot as we get ready for some truck racing to begin the evening. Tonight's action brought to you in part by Advanced Sim Racing, owned and operated by passionate sim racers. Advanced Sim Racing designs and builds the sturdiest and most durable aluminum profile racing simulation cockpits available on the market today. All PR members also get a 5% discount on ASR products. Use the Precision 5 coupon code. Racebox offers mid and high-end button boxes for sim racing enthusiasts, for the casual gamer up to the most meticulous sim racing driver. Capably priced and carefully handcrafted, our button boxes are an enjoyable addition to any sim racing setup. Visit RaceSpotTV.com to get a 5% discount using the Precision 5 coupon code. Butt Kicker products add incredible immersion and realism to every game. For every nuance, ensure put yourself in the driver's seat. Moradness is a performance lifestyle brand motivated by motorsport and founded by professional race car driver Daniel Morad. For more information, visit Moradness.com. Mr. Hedge iRacing Photography. Capture your finest, proudest, or simply worst moments from your hobby in up to 8K resolution. A great addition to any sim room. And by Advanced Motorsports. Get ready to learn to be fast with Advanced Motorsports. Follow them on their socials to become a better driver. Qualifying already underway here at Michigan. High speeds and high stakes expected here. Track position could be pivotal. Andrew Sharp amongst those trying to get it early.
Look at that new camera angle for Andrew this week. Kind of more of the top-down view. He's ditched that Jeff Gordon jacket he's got, but beautiful, beautiful sim rig there for Andrew Sharp. But yeah, you're right. Qualifying is open, and you said learn how to be fast. Well, that's the goal you're going to have to do here with only 2 laps at Michigan. This is a tricky track. See, Andrew's going to come down here, stay with the net, what we call above that first seam. If you can see the markings on the track, and you know what, the turns 3 and 4, JP, they'll get you fast if you're not paying attention here.
First time it's coming across the stripe, by the way, at speed 39.8 should say for Andrew Sharp. Patrick Calgill, who's in race 100 of his PRL Truck Series career inside the top 3. Looking at Matthew Alaka of note. Few drivers not to qualify tonight include Marty Calvert, Antonio Bannister, and Jamie Graham, who all have to serve EOL penalties from previous incidents. Take a look at Mike Toomer Jr. He's amongst those trying to bump up into the 42nd bracket. That seems to be the consistent one for the start of these runs. Should be faster on the second.
Yeah, I'd say almost every run should be faster on the second here. Here's Philip Beaver, by the way. That's a new paint for Philip. That Napa look, that's a different look here for the 60 machine. So nice to see the drivers expressing their love of sponsors in different ways. Here's Zach Panzarella, last season's champion, trying to run down the title this time. A 40.017 is going to put him down the board back in P5, Justin. So pretty good run for them. Here's Mike Toomer Jr. Mike's had some up and down moments in the past season or so, but here he goes down on the apron trying to get that last bit of speed, and he's going to clock it in at a 40.343.
And Sharp's time for the first time around, still staying at the top of the pylon here. Brett Adams has had a very tremendous season. Probably his best here in the PRL Truck Series. And now he'll start towards the middle of the top 10 in the 40 flats.
Wow, that's going to be a bit of a challenge. I mean, this track has a lot of passing opportunities, but I think the tires will wear off pretty fast. This is not a place I'd want to try, you know, a last to first or mid to first challenge. And that's a key moment right there. I love seeing that. Use your extra time here, Mike Toomer. Great job practicing pit entry, because with this track spreading out, JP, we could possibly see a green flag pit stop.
And this isn't the easiest of places per se to be able to do a green flag pit stop. No improvement for Brett Adams, by the way, in his second lap time. Now, keep in mind, this is expected to also be potentially a pack race to start things off in the short run. Tire saving is going to be critical tonight.
Oh yeah, tire saving will definitely be critical because you can burn off a set of tires here. Man, look at that wiggle by Dylan Schmidt. Saw the back end of that truck pointed way up towards the wall. But if you burn off tires here quickly, JP, you will fall through the pack like a rock in an ocean. You'll just drop spot after spot. So, and that's a challenge that a lot of drivers face at Michigan. You want to go fast. I keep using that word tonight, fast. You want to go fast, and you will. But if you're not careful, you'll also sink to the bottom faster than that. There's a great run here by Dylan Schmidt up against the wall. Maybe a little too high, unless these are just practice laps. And he's part of DDI 44 ever. The team is leading the points. Man, look, he's up against the wall, tracking out beautifully. Great job there, out there. But yeah, it was right in the corner a little too high.
Looks like qualifying coming to a close. He will finish up in 11th position in the session. That means, in turn, we have 22 starters set to race here at Michigan. Let's take a look at how they'll start tonight. Andrew Sharp sets the pole tonight. 39.835. Patrick Calgill alongside in a home race. Phil Beaver, Kevin McCarvey, the top 4. Zach Panzero and Brett Adams, your top 6. Matthew Abaca, Doyle Loretz in the 8th spot. Austin Hunter and Alex Hillman, your top 10. Dylan Schmidt, Brennan Shatley inside the top 12. Nick Hunter back in 13th. Zachary Burt put up a time in 14th. Mike Toomer Jr. and Kyle Dewey, your top 16. Last to set times tonight, Stacy Hunter and Tom Massey. Your DNSs for times, Jamie Graham, Mike Richter, who did not take part in the session at all, Marty Calvert, and Antonio Bannister, your last drivers here tonight. Just about all set to go as we get ready for what will be a very hot one in terms of conditions. This track going to be extremely slick possibly here. Derek, your keys to do well tonight as Andrew doesn't know what to say about it.
I don't know what he's debating there, but wasn't that quite the look by Andrew? If that was he was on camera, or he was just having a moment of doubt. I don't know, but that was a good look there. Look at the track temps. You called it out. 116 degrees Fahrenheit on track. It's 3:31 p.m. virtual sim time here on the 3rd of August. So a very, very slick track. But you asked about my keys to victory coming back around. I think it is what you said earlier, tire management and being patient here, because I said in qualifying, if you burn off a set of tires here, you will sink very, very fast. And when you burn off those tires, these corners become difficult to navigate.
Drop weeks start to be implemented per race control starting after this week, by the way, for those provisional standings. So we'll see where the drops start to factor on in. Who do you think this race is going to factor in the most for? Rather, who is going to fit the best out of the drivers in the field?
The sentimental favorite, as you mentioned, is Patrick Calgill. His 100th career PRL start, his hometown race. He's from Michigan. So, that's the sentimental favorite, is to pick Patrick, who needs a great race tonight. He needs to get a great race in to get back up in the points. That need is an important word for Patrick. But who do I think this benefits the most? Oh, that's a great question. I mean, obviously, Brett Adams is a solid choice, but I'm probably going to say, man, he's getting so close. He's up on the pole again for the 3rd or 4th time this season. I'm really thinking Andrew Sharp finally closes the deal and gets his first oval victory.
We'll take a look and see what happens tonight. But we're happy to have you with us for the PRL Truck Series. We're all set to go for the Irish Hills of Michigan. It's Sharp, it's Calgill, green flag is out. We're underway from MIS. Patrick Calgill leads things off at the front with the run for the outside. Andrew Sharp shuffle back to second. First fights on the racetrack, see offset 3 wide, with Panzarella trying to make some cuts.
What a great job by Calgill, by the way. A big focus this season, I think, between you and I has been about how the outside lane doesn't always get the start they need. But Calgill was right there. He was ready. He was on the move and got it done very, very quickly. So great job for Calgill for getting up on that start there and making it happen. Now look at us, already 5-6 deep in that single file run. You got to get back to, I think, the P7 and 8 right there, your screen. Panzarella for your first 2-wide battle.
Brad Adams trying to showcase why the outside line during the run could be beneficial. Just can't get there yet. Surprisingly, not as many drivers being aggressive here. A lot of saving early, if anything.
Yeah, a lot of saving happening, right? Not as much into pack racing as I thought there would be with the 2 or 3 wide. Man, a lot of drivers got really darn close to that wall there. And then you see part of the Phil Barn team right there. That to be Marty Calvert's in that truck right there. That's Phil the Beaver. I apologize. I always get the Phil Mars backwards.
Yeah, he's right now amongst those up high side. A little bit of shuffling at the moment, but right now Beaver just trying to keep momentum. You can do multi-groove racing here. It does impact the tires depending on the line though, as we've already seen throughout the years here.
So that's a great point to bring up. Yeah, there's multiple reasons to pick each line. See Panzarella going low. Obviously, the reason to pick the low line is that science teaches us that the quickest way around a circle is the shortest line, aka the bottom line, typically. So there's that reason. You can typically pass down there. But for drivers like Beaver, who are hanging up top, or Brett Adams now, they're putting less input into that steering wheel. And what's that going to do? It's going to save those tires. So this is almost like a short run versus long run strategy being played out right now.
And dirty air is huge here too, Derek.
Oh yeah, 100%. The way the car feels probably for Patrick Calgill up in, clean air. Maybe even Andrew Sharp's doing okay, but someone back here like a Philip Beaver or someone like the 9 car right now of Doyle Lawrence with all this dirty air is having a very hard time controlling this car at times. And see Doyle Lawrence now, they're 3 offset wide, just not battling each other to all find clean air.
Zach Panzarella high side to Brett Adams. Doyle Lawrence also the same thing, high side. They're still in the battle for 4th position on the circuit. And so far for Panzarella, after what we've seen last year with the championship, not the same in terms of his pace this year, it feels like, but he's still in the conversation. He needs to start outscoring Brett if he wants a shot.
Yeah, needs to start outscoring Brett. Maybe get another win under his belt. So we'll have to see if he can make that happen. And of course, last week he won at Daytona. Very emotional for him. A big moment for a lot of sim racers to win at a track like Daytona, because it just feels like an accomplishment that we all dream about as kids. You'll go, I want to win at Daytona. Well, tell you what, even winning at virtual Daytona can be a big moment right there. Look at Panzarella down below the 77, trying to make something happen here for Kevin McGarvey. And might have him cleared.
Yeah, great start for McGarvey for the Buster's Butts Racing Club machine. He started off with the track position, has not let go of it so far. This is one of his best starts to a race.
Yeah, doing pretty well here. And I'm impressed with how patient everyone's being. I know you said it already, but lots of patience, lots of space being given. No big drafts happening, no big side drafts happening. It's such a relief after our last 2 weeks of racing. Remember, 2 weeks ago we did IRP. Last week we did Daytona. This must feel like all the room in the world for these drivers right now.
You go up to 6 lanes of racing. McGarvey just used them all into the wall. And that allows Panzarella up the spot. Trouble behind them. Lawrence having some troubles on the bobble. Jamie Graham back there had the dodge. We still keep an eye on the battle for 3rd and 4th now.
Look at that. And but what's happening is when they're racing side by side, they're going to let more drivers get involved in this eventually. But here's the battle almost with a points lead in a way. Not that it's going to change because of this one spot. But those are the 2 drivers right there, Panzarella and Brett Adams, side by side. Now they're going to put this McGarvey sort of in that battle And let's see how long it takes for maybe an Austin Hunter or a Philip Beaver or an Alex Hillman to catch up here.
Well done by Panzarella, finally cleared on by, but the thing is, the more they race side by side like they've been battling so far, the more time it's going to cost them down the straightaways.
Yeah, you're not getting the run off the corner you probably want. You're not getting to set it up correctly. You know, maybe in the case of Panzarella, you're not even getting... Hold on, there's a replay here. Ooh, scary moment right there, man. Scary moment on the wiggle and on the rejoin.
That was Graham with some door-to-door contact, yeah. Held on to it, though. And we stay green. A bit of wiggling. The rear tires are starting to melt on some trucks. We're 10 laps in this time.
And, you know, and we talked about a key to victory being tire conservation. But I'll tell you, JP, at 114 degrees Fahrenheit, I don't really know how you conserve tires that much here. That's a blistering track. That's extreme on the hot side here in a hot August day on the virtual calendar. So, you know, you can talk about saving tires, and you can, but you're gonna wear those things out no matter what you do. And right now, all signs point to a green flag race, knock on wood. So a lot of drivers are already probably planning when that pit stop will be.
All race line job battles forming up. They've lost 1 second, this pack has now. It seems like the top two are the only ones not sliding the tires compared to this group.
Look at them here racing so well. I'm really impressed that Panzarella and that group of McGarvey, even Adams, has really been side by side for so long and are able to hold on to that vehicle here. So we'll see how it goes. This is back here. This is Dylan Schmidt back in P15 now, 14 now up in the main box. Look at that. There's the pack racing. There's the drafting. There's the everything you talked about in the pre-race. Now the 3 wide of Mike Toomer on the bottom. Ooh.
Yeah. And look at this though. Sharp wants to go. He wants a lead lap. Hasn't led yet after being the pole sitter. And Cowgill with a lot of yaw out gets it by.
Yeah, Cowgill definitely got caught up there. Maybe was trying to push too hard. Got on the throttle a little too early possibly. And you're right, that truck slid. And here's a yellow. Yellow flag is out.
It's Doyle Lawrence who's gone around in the 9. And we're under caution for the first time, just about 10 minutes through.
And you see possibly a little bit of help there. Doyle Lawrence on the 9. And, oh, big hit on the wall. And there's going to be a second truck, actually, JP, who actually gets loose afterwards in the main grass. But this is the hard hit from Lawrence that's going to bring the yellow out.
Your first DNF of the race already has parked it. And this is going to make it a little more intriguing on the lap count. We were expected to go up to 60 if we stay green, not anymore.
Yeah, so this will change a lot of strategies in this moment. A lot of drivers are happy, by the way. A lot of drivers are not happy there's a wreck or not happy there's a yellow, but happy for the chance to put on tires.
Go usually about 36-ish on the fuel run. Still outside the window with the 40 minutes possibly. 30 minutes to go, should say. We'll see where it really settles down. So the field regroups here. 4-1 is likely going to be our first pit stops of the race. 3 tire sets available in the pits, by the way, tonight.
Yeah, and if you get the opportunity to put them on, you will. Unlike when we raced at Daytona last week and we said, tires maybe. No, tires are a definite here at Michigan. So everyone's going to come down. Everyone will be tires and gas. 4 tires, no playing around here. And it'll just be a matter of who's quickest on pit road.
So we'll see who handles pit road the best out of this field now. Into the lane they go, already a quarter of the way off the clock. No major issues, it looks like, yet on the pit entries. Now as they make their way to the boxes, we'll see if that point doesn't stay. Already significant damage for the 60, as you said.
Yeah, the 60 had an incident after the yellow came out. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to find it in the replays or not, but he had an incident well after the yellow where he made contact with a truck and then the wall, and I think a second wall. So wait and see how that turns out for him. Here's the battle off of pit road, and it's going to be Sharp, Cowgill, Adams, I believe. Let's see, it's definitely Sharp and Cowgill. And there's McGarvey in third. I apologize.
Here's what you were talking about after the caution, right about here.
Yep, there it is. Just made contact with Jamie Graham, then hit the outside wall and went spinning through the grass, and I think a little bit more insult to injury with the inside hit. That's after the caution. I'm not sure if it's just a bad checkup or what happened, but the yellow had been out for probably 4 or 5 seconds at that point.
Yeah, that was a weird one. What do you think might have caused that? Awareness? What might have that been?
I have a theory that I'm not positive on, which is that maybe, the instinct of a sim racer is that when the yellow comes out, you want to start checking up instantly. I'm wondering, and I could be wrong, and I'm sure Philip will let me know. I'm wondering if maybe Philip Beaver got on the brakes a little hard, and the car just kind of got out from under him. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see if maybe we can talk to Philip Beaver post-race and find out. But I think maybe he just tapped the brakes a little too aggressively and the car kind of slid. And he made contact with Graham and then it kind of was on from there. Well, JP, here we go. We're about to line it up again. And Andrew Sharp, for the second time, is going to lead us to green.
So just about ready to get back underway to reset your field. Sharp, Cowgill, McGarvey, your top 3. Panzarella in 4th, Brett Adams in 5th, Austin Hunter, Alex Hillman, and Jamie Graham, your top 8. Marty Calvert and Nick Hunter, your top 10 on the racetrack. And so far, Calvert making up some lost time after not to qualify, has done well. Same for Graham.
Yeah, not the same for Graham. We'll have to wait and see here. So I was taking a look at the points and kind of figuring out some numbers here, JP. And of course, as you said, after this week, the drop weeks take effect. Right now, Panzarella would make up 5 points on Brett Adams in the points, and assuming what doesn't happen tonight. The big winner, by the way, would be Andrew Sharp. He'll make up 10 points in the battle for the points on Brett Adams. So this point battle will only get tighter for the lead when the drop weeks take effect.
Let's find out how this restart now goes. Again, Sharp is the control truck. Still 19 on the lead lap. Beaver and Lawrence out. Back underway from Michigan. Sharp with a great launch. Everybody else bogged down. McGarvey looking for second.
A much, much better launch there for Andrew Sharp on this run. Now we're going to look on board from Patrick Calgill, the driver in P2. Going to try to suck up some draft here on the 24 and make a move happen, pardon me. And so we're going to run slightly higher and try to find some clean air.
Trying to wrap it top, now crosses to the inside. Cowgill wants the lead. 38 estimated laps to go.
I'm not sure if Cowgill dove to the bottom, wanting the lead, or if Sharp just got wicked loose out of the corner and drove it up the hill, because that seemed very sudden of a move for Andrew Sharp to get up the hill like that. But now Cowgill is going to take advantage here. Look at Cowgill here, very focused in and doing a pretty good job overall. They're still side by side down the back straight.
Still side by side with Cowgill inside. Panzarella there. Look who's up inside the 4th spot. Jamie Graham is joined up in the fray too.
Yeah, big surprise in a way to see that maybe Jamie Graham doesn't have any major contact or damage from that hit with Beaver under yellow. But here they are. Now is that pack racing. Now here's that, 2x2 march that you look forward to in a pack race. I mean, it's Cowgill, Sharp, Panzarella, Jamie Graham, and others. Kevin McGarvey's back there, Austin Hunter. This is where it gets exciting.
Single file for the top 4 for now. Panzarella, wants to slide it forward. And Panzarella is absolutely relentless on these sliders.
Man, a little too high there. I know Zach's done a couple official races this week to get ready. Won himself a race last night in the C Fixed at Michigan. So doing a pretty good job this week getting ready. But right now, riding high in this corner, trying to clear Andrew Sharp.
Looks like he might just about. Graham in the wall, that checks up the field. McCarvey having to go evasive action left to avoid significant contact there. All that's with, they're trying to change up the groups. Inside's great for the corner. But as we've seen, the outside's the best in terms of bogged up speed and building up speed like Brett's showing.
And Jamie Graham's all over the place right now, JP. Just almost a menace on the racetrack. They're now 3 wide with Graham in the middle. It's McGarvin the inside, your points leader on the outside. And 3 wide's very doable here, but still a nervous moment when you see a truck having the kind of problems that Jamie Graham had. I think now he's got it back under control.
Looks very comfortable now. Marty Calvert, and this is up to 7th, by the way. Austin Hunter drop kick down to 8th. And right now, the battle is on to try and settle on quickly because clean air has been king. Andrew Sharp, he wants to get a spot back at least because he and Panzarella are losing track of the top spot.
You know, right now, the story for Andrew Sharp in a lot of ways, JP, for this season has been almost the, you know, always the bridesmaid, never the bride kind of scenario. Just so close so many times. Last week, you know, almost basically threw the race away at Daytona with the pit road penalty. Has had multiple poles this season. You can feel it. You can see he's putting it all together finally after about a year oval racing. Right on the verge of being successful here.
Yeah, he has showed the flashes, especially in quali. Just not where he needs to be in terms of the line at the moment. That's what's hurting him, if anything. That momentum up the high side. In the side-by-sides, that's going to see him all the way back to about 5th for the straightaway. And not a lot of patience from Jamie Graham. He's inside for 2nd.
That's good news for Sharp, though. That'll give Sharp a little bit of draft to work with here, and that'll help him get a little faster here. I mean, Sharp's the lowest of the cars on the track, really getting now to that bottom of the lowest of the groups I'd feel comfortable with, going through the corners. And Sharp, man, flirting with the white line, trying to find every small inch of racetrack he can find. 3 wide.
Still offset 3 wide. Trying to battle from the middle. An air bobble for Graham. And our slide for Sharp. Brett Adams now stays in a line. Tries to get the run around the 24.
I'll tell you what, you know who has the biggest proverbial smile on their face right now, JP? That's Patrick Cowgill, who says, yeah, boys, fight it out. Do this. Go 3 wide. Go 2 wide. Slide the track. Do what you got to do. And I'll just be up here all by myself. And these guys are, man, look, that's probably 8 cars right there, I think. Maybe 7 cars, 7 trucks, rather, just under a blanket.
The lead has now stretched out to about a 2nd, by the way, with this. That's absolutely astronomical, especially with all the bubbles. More loose moments. Brett Adams nearly spins it down the track. McGarvey zips by 3 wide.
And a lot of what these bobbles are being caused by is that when a driver gets excited, they want to get every oomph of speed they can find. Oh, hold on, up the track. That's Andrew Sharp.
Caution flag is out. Sharp turned up the circuit. He's not happy.
I think he was saying, I don't know what happened there. Almost what he's saying, but just frustrating. You can see that truck is done. Man, oh man, that'll be a big, big hit to the championship hopes of Andrew Sharp. But Cowgill now will come around and find the pace car in P1.
So Sharp, with contact with Jamie Graham, puts us under caution just past the halfway point of the race, and your pole sitter is likely done. Jamie Graham in the same boat. How about that? That's going to make things simple on the strategy. It's now a pit stop to be able to make it from here. Here's the reason for the contact.
Yeah, watching it here on the screen, and I don't know. That's a hard angle to see, honestly, JP, but they make contact. And it looks like maybe Graham was coming down and Sharp was coming up, and they sort of met in the middle. From that angle, you can clearly see Sharp coming up, but what I think if you look at 5 seconds before, you see Graham was also coming down. I think neither one knew what the other was doing. And then, man, and then Graham just hooked him. I mean, Graham, there you see. Now, watch Graham here. It's going to start to come down the track right about here. And then Sharp comes up a little bit, and that, oh, big hit. Man, Kevin McGarvey just squeaked by there, didn't he?
Yeah, lucky that's only a 2-truck incident. But it is still one that will take Sharp out of this one. Everyone making their scheduled pit stops fairly easily. But the race out pit road, Alex Hillman. He just won the race out pit road on a 2-tire stop. Kevin McGarvey up to second.
I am respectfully skeptical, JP, of a 2-tire stop here. Tires are so important at Michigan. I know it's not been that long since we stopped. The problem is how long we have left to go. Hey, listen, maybe Alex knows something I don't, and if he does, great for him. It's great track position, but I don't know.
Let's take a look at some of the highlights so far in this race. So we're already past the halfway. It's been an eventful one. We started off clean, and immediately Calgill went to work. But so far, drivers like McGarvey and Adams have done well, but others, like Graham, have had to get the elbows out.
Yeah, the elbows out indeed. There's the wreck we saw earlier with the 9. Oh, that's still. Oof. There's the pit stops. You see Andrew Sharp was up front at one point. Here's Philip Beaver and the cautions out.
That ended up ending the 60s day. He is officially out of the race. But this was Calgill taking the lead just moments ago. And the aggression levels picked up to the point where it was 3 wide at one point for a second before this contact sent us back under the caution flag.
Back under caution indeed. Well, let's talk to the man involved in that wreck, if you don't mind, JP. Let's talk to Andrew Sharp. So I'm going to bring Andrew in here for a second. Andrew, what was that? What happened to you, buddy?
I think it's one of those things where it's a mix of netcode and probably could have used a bit more space, and just came together.
All right. Well, look like you were having fun out there.
I was. Yeah, it was a good time. That's why I'm a bit bummed. I felt like we were fighting a lot and then letting Patrick get away, which is frustrating. But yeah, I don't know. It looked like I was tight on the bottom seam, and it just netcode kind of took care of the rest of it.
All right. Well, I'm assuming you're done for the night, right? Like there's no fixing the truck.
Yeah, I haven't even looked at the time for it yet, but it's probably pretty dead.
All right. Well, listen. Well, good run tonight. Proud of you. We'll see you next week.
Sounds good.
All right, there's Andrew Sharp, JP. That was really an unfortunate ending to a great run.
Yeah, it could have been in the conversation for the win here. Instead, gets turned into the wall. Alex Hillman trying something different for track position. Waits to the end of the restart zone. Green flag. And a clean launch through the zone. As here comes the fight for second. McGarvey working his way for the high side. Calgill looking for the lead.
Calgill again wants to take that lead back, and oh man, McGarvey back there in the second spot in the high lane got really wiggling there through the corner. But yeah, Calgill now getting a big push here from Marty Calvert, and they're trying as best they can to get around Alex Hillman, and they do.
Hillman being left out to dry. That truck does not look comfortable. A lot of weeble wobbling and wiggling. Look who's up to third now. Austin Hunter. He's been able to jump up to the third spot with all the shuffling. And now he clears by easily as this is killing McGarvey.
Yeah, him and his brother Nick have had a great season so far, part of Whataback Hunters. Nick, of course, almost had a P2. Hold on, there's a big truck. Not a big truck, there's a big wiggle from a truck in the back, but all is good. Nick so close to a P2 last week, JP. After the broadcast, it got reviewed. Nick passed below the line and did not retain that P2. But man, him and his brother Austin are having great seasons here. There's a lot of luck at the right moments, a lot of skill being shown, and right now Austin's holding off Zach Panzarella.
Brennan Chatley was the one who was loose, by the way. It's all the way at the back of the main group. Calgio up in front. Take a look at the battle still for third position, as Hunter needs to get the hunting goggles out. 7/10 the gap between second and third.
Yeah, that's a big gap here, right? I know if you're used to watching road racing, you know, F1 or maybe even IndyCar, 7/10 doesn't sound like a lot, but in the world of ovals, JP, look at that big gap. Look how massive that hole was. You could park like a semi-truck in there. So that's how big 7/10 of a second is. It's only going to grow here, most likely. If you're Austin Hunter, you're hoping Zach Panzarella bump traps you down the back straight.
That doesn't seem like it's been happening, though. Not a lot of bump drafting, not a lot of competition in that regard today. It's just been about driver skill set, and right now, the top two seem to be taking off.
Yeah, they really do, don't they? That's Calgill and Calvert up there. And Marty Calvert having a great run, as he did last week at Daytona. Was relevant in that battle for a long time. And looking back through the field here, there's Brendan Chatley, there's Matthew Alaka back there. Some great battles all the way around. Well, JP, a lot of big news dropped this week about PRL. And next season, these become 60-minute truck races.
Yes, a part of a restructuring of the series, so to speak. That will see a couple series be reduced, if not eliminated, Derek, as well. Oh, trouble! Austin Hunter spun it into pit road.
Wow, I'm double checking to see if he got that thing woed down in time. I'd be surprised. No, he did not. He has a black flag. Man, that's going to be unfortunate for Austin Hunter in that moment there.
So that's going to see Brett Adams up to third spot, answers onto the slide. And a big-time black flag for the 27. Lucky not to make contact. Now the bump drafting might be in play with them 1 second back now of second.
Yeah, look at this here. Just got it way loose. I don't know what exactly happened there, but that's unfortunate for him. He's going to have that black flag to serve. Just wasn't able to get it down in time. So that'll, short of a yellow or maybe a couple yellows happening, that'll probably be the end of Austin Hunter being in contention for this race here. And I was confused at first when Hunter got loose, JP, because at the same time that happened, you may have heard as well, Patrick Calgill let off a small scream in the driver's chat. I thought Calgill was getting loose, but in fact it was Austin Hunter.
Marty Calvert, meanwhile, he's been keeping Patrick Calgill at bay. And Calvert having to come back from an EOL penalty, essentially, to start the race today. Hasn't driven like he's had to go to the field. He's just kept it calm.
Yeah, has really kept it calm, hasn't he? And now, right now, staying right behind Patrick Calgill, trying to suck in that draft and make it happen. I almost wonder if maybe trying to find a slightly offset line, like half a truck or half a lane, would help him. But I think the bigger story right now, JP, is this is the best that I can think that Patrick Calgill has run consistently all season. He's had some moments where he's been in the front and had those moments. And here's a battle. That's Dylan Schmidt and Kevin McGarvey right there. But this is the best Patrick Calgill has done top to bottom all season.
Yeah, this has been the best race the 77 can really even ask for. But right now it's getting worked on and passed around by Zachary Burt. He's been having a solid second after this one. Never mind, he's in the wall.
Oh, man, you can see the telltale sign someone's in the wall, can't you? When everyone else kind of scatters off the wall as fast as possible. You saw McGarvey and others getting down there and trying to avoid any contact afterwards. There's Zachary burnt up there in the 28 in that John Deere-esque like paint scheme with the green and yellow. And there goes McGarvey. Oh no!
McGarvey hard to the wall, and the truck explodes with contact. Black flag 77.
There's no way he wasn't speeding there, but man, that's a hard hit. That's going to be the end of the day, and by all means for Kevin McGarvey. There's no way that truck comes back and is competitive.
That's our second driver that's had a good run that they needed to go for naught. Zachary Burt, despite hard contact to the wall, is still maintaining track position. Brendan Chatley, he zips his way to 6th.
So I'll come back and watch this replay here. And watch, he's just going to get it. Ah, man, like typically that's a little different than your typical moment at Michigan. That one confuses me more, JP, because typically you'll see the back end snap around more and sort of point towards pit road. I know he wasn't aiming for it, but it kind of looked like he was aiming for it.
Still, not much he can do now. That truck is destroyed, and he's already lost himself a lap and has parked it. Chatley's picking up some ground now that he was struggling for earlier. Remember, nearly sputtered around at the start of this run. Now is battling for 5th.
Yeah, beautiful battle happening right here for Brandon Chatley and Dylan Schmidt. And by the way, these guys are right here in the battle. They've got Pandrella ahead of them as they're now side by side through the corner. And by the way, don't look now, JP, but look at that front of your camera shot. That's Brett Adams. He has put himself up in the battle for P1. It's now P1, 2, and 3, less than 0.3 of a second apart.
Yeah, how about that? Here's the fight for the lead. Calvert, Cowgill, Adams, all covered under a blanket. Coming around to 7 minutes to go. Calvert trying to use the first seam. Cowgill, he fell off around this point last run. Adams had to reel these drivers in from about half a straightaway back.
And the way he most likely did it, JP, was going to be based upon the fact that, as you said earlier, when you're side-by-side racing, you're not getting your perfect line. You're not tracking out possibly. You're not getting down to the bottom grooves, whatever your preferred line is. And the more you do that, you're slower than the guy behind you. And now Adams in P2 with Calvert.
Yeah, some impressive battling now starting to shape up. Working around to 6 minutes on the clock this time around. Cowgill now tries to set sail as Calvert tries to keep his foot in it, nearly lost it.
Man, oh man, this is a great battle come down here with 6 minutes and 15 seconds on the clock. Brett Adams, you'd have to think a win here, JP. Even a top 3 here just really helps put another brick in the layer of a championship season, and just another piece of the foundation of building the house of that victory, because he's had an amazing season, and now he's side by side with Calvert.
Adams again. He's one of your championship favorites for a reason. Adams has been. Now he wants to get the most out of the point situation as he can. Calvert not able to build up a run to get a Cowgill just yet.
What Calvert's benefiting from, though, by staying behind Cowgill, is he's getting that bit of draft. So he's able to kind of hold off Brett Adams as long as humanly possible, because that little bit of draft will help here. Man, look at Patrick Cowgill. Look at those hands down the bottom of that camera shot. Did you see how much they were moving through the corner there, JP? Let's stick here for a second and watch as Cowgill now is going to go through 1 and 2. Man, look at all that fighting of that wheel. He's like arm wrestling a grizzly bear. It's like he's wrestling an alligator. My goodness.
Yeah, that's a lot of feedback. Near contact for second. Adams avoids the turnaround with Calvert, but that's going to allow Patrick Cowgill to calm down a moment. Point of no return next time by.
Well, I'll tell you what, if these guys would get in line, these guys being Calvert and Adams, and if they just let Patrick Calgill run those laps with all that input, I would think they would catch him pretty quickly here, because that seems super unstable, with all due respect to Patrick Calgill. I mean, he's up in the lead, but I don't know how he does that, JP. If I had that kind of battle with the wheel, I'd be in a wall.
Yeah, it's an art form, right? It takes a lot of work to be able to get the art form right. It's better yet, comfortability when it comes to the wheel inputs. Now, Calvert getting a bit of rubby with Brett Adams.
Yeah, this is the real battle right here, and you know, obviously each of these guys wants to get P2. They want to be where they can be in this moment in the race, where the race could end at any second here, because whether it's yellow or checkers, either one of those flags would end the race at this point. And so right now, Brett Adams in line, got a bit of draft in front and behind, and I'm curious if he closes the gap here on the hometown boy.
Still staying stationary in the choo-choo train, though. 3.5 minutes. The estimated lap total is about 6 laps. Very likely going to be less than that based on the total, possibly. And Calgill way up the tracks in the wall. Here comes Adams. They make contact. They door. Brett Adams to the inside. Calvert zips by Calgill.
Well, I think Brett Adams is not happy about that, because he's going to think that Calgill could have saved that a little better. But now to the lead is Marty Calvert, as he's the only one who didn't have his line impeded out of 4. Calvert to the lead side by side, 2.5 or 3 minutes to go.
Now Adams having to get himself out of the wall. And Calvert takes clean air. The fight's on for second.
And don't look now, but Panzarella and Brandon Chatley are closing that gap quickly.
Wide job for Patrick
Calgill
Calgill.
again.
Oh boy, Brett Adams now trying to get a run. This is all Calvert needs to see with 2.5 minutes to go.
Oh man, how the tables have turned. Now Calvert's the one hoping for the side-by-side battle, and now Adams has basically cleared Calgill, and the caution's out. We're done.
This should end it. Caution for Zachary Byrne, and Marty Calvert is in front. 2 minutes ago, and the 16 is on his way to a victory.
Man, oh man, and both Patrick Calgill and Brett Adams has let out the biggest no in driver chat you could have heard.
Just needs to be able to make it on the gas.
What's going to happen here? This is Byrne. This is caution is not clear. It's the call right there. Not clear, driver. That's right across the front of Dylan Schmidt. Or, yeah, Dylan Schmidt.
And how about that fight? It came down to the wire, but your thoughts on what we've seen break down in this one?
Very, very happy with the quality of racing tonight. Very happy overall with the control the driver showed and the patience. This is a very hot, blistering track. So, I mean, a lot of could have gone wrong here. I mean, the temps have come down only a couple degrees since we started, but a lot of patience, a lot of skill, a lot of fun racing.
And a shame for Calgill, because home track race definitely wanted to get a good finish here. Comes away in third instead. If that happened a couple laps earlier, we might be talking about Calgill as the winner.
Yeah, we could be talking, hey, if it happened a lap sooner, we might have been talking about Brett Adams winning another race. That's the fun of this. You know, the words you used to start the night were pack racing. And really, at the end, in a certain way, that's what it felt like. Not because of the bump drafting, not because of the 2 and 3 wide, but because of the way we were swapping the lead there at the end of the race.
And next time by should be the checkered. 20 seconds still on the clock. A lot of drivers had some great runs, like Chatley and Dylan Smith especially needed a good run.
Yeah, a lot of drivers up here needed a great run tonight. I mean, Calvert, of course, would come up here. Brett Adams, Calgill, that's a great run. He'll be sad not to win, but compared to his season, third's going to be a great run. Chatley's up there. Dylan Schmidt, Mike Toomer in P7. That's a great, great finish for him.
Alex Hillman on the 2 tires, mind you, did make it work. Well, did make it work with the time at the caution. He dropped all the way outside the top 10 and still came back to drive in 10 to finish the race.
Yeah, what a great run by Alex. I mean, we never really got a chance to talk about him during the race, and I know I said respectfully I wasn't sure it would work, but I also respect the fact he did something different. You know, sometimes you have to just take a swing at it and see what works and find out. And you know what? He did, and a lot of respect to Alex Hillman for making that work and finishing P10 here right behind Stacy Hunter.
So again, this is the final lap. Checker flag, this time by Marty Calvert. Had to get the elbows out, had to get the speed out in the closing stages after things got aggressive between Adams and Calgill. Marty Calvert comes from the back to the front to win at Michigan. Second spot, Brett Adams. Third spot, Calgill. Panzarella, Chatley, your top 5. And the Fillmore entry of Calvert heads to victory lane. Race is official, Derek.
There it is. That's done. So great job by Marty Calvert to finish it out and doing a great moment there. So Marty Calvert here is going to come around and celebrate. You see some guys already kind of giving that little close rub or the close drive as sort of the driver's etiquette way of saying, hey, great race or great win. But this is a great moment for Calvert, who had a kind of a controversial moment last week, spinning his teammate, and comes back around and wins the race this week.
And he'll get the chance to celebrate and burn it on down here at Michigan. As the front straightaway is all clear for his coronation and celebration. Marty Calvert puts on some stellar pace to close it and burns it on down at MIS.
You can tell maybe Marty needs to go to a class on how to burn it down, JP. So he needs to get more wins under his belt because he's got to get it under. He's got to kind of put it neutral and hold the throttle for a bit, Marty. Oh, there you go. There's a donut.
Just his third win in the PRL. And he'll go to victory lane to celebrate it. A little bit of smoke show in victory lane, why don't you? But let's take a look at your race results. Calvert, Brett Adams, Calgill, your top 3. Panzarella, Chatley, Smith, Toomer Jr. a top 10. Alika, along with Hunter, Stacy Hunter specifically, and Alex Hillman, your top 10 here tonight. In 11th, Tom Massey. Then it was Antonio Bannister, Kyle Dewey in 13th, Nick Hunter back in 14th. Zachary Burke goes around for the caution to end it in 15th. DNFs, there were aplenty. McGarvey, Austin Hunter, Jamie Graham, Andrew Sharp, Philip Beaver amongst them. Doyle Lawrence also amongst those on the DNF list. Mike Richter did not take part in the race. That's what we'll talk about the running order here tonight. Marty Calvert on top of the win also picks up the fastest lap. And he'll get the chance to celebrate here in victory lane. Marty Calvert, your third PRL win comes tonight. How are you feeling?
I feel amazing. That was so fun, so much fun. I still can't believe it happened, but been waiting for another one for a while. Feels really, really good to get it.
What was the battle like from your perspective? You, Brett Adams, Patrick Calgill fighting hard for the win.
I mean, it was just who could skate on the razor's edge and not go over. And the arrow was really interesting. When you're behind somebody, it's tight, tight, tight. And then as soon as you peek out, it's loose, loose, loose. So you're constantly going back and forth trying to balance that out. And it was rough starting from the back from a penalty last week. My only goal was to get a top 10. So I exceeded that expectation. I'm happy.
So on that note here for this one, Richmond is up next on the schedule. Your thoughts on the action track?
Richmond historically has not been a good one for me. I've got to put some work into it, and See if we can pull out a good finish there. We'll see how it goes.
Any shout-outs you'd like to give here tonight?
Shout out to my wonderful wife, my 2 boys who have already come down here to congratulate me. Philmar, teammate Philip, and RaceSpot and PRL. Thank you guys.
Thank you very much for the time. Congratulations once again on the run.
Thank you.
Marty Calvert gets the W here in this one tonight. And he gets to celebrate with the family. Brett Adams finishing second. He's with Derek.
Wow. Speaking of the family, Adams Family Racing, Brett Adams, you are becoming sort of like the mainstay here in the broadcast booth. Have you considered changing your address?
No. Well, it's cool to be in here, and it's cool. My kids listen in the other room. I promised them tonight if I won, we'd watch a movie, but I think I'll make an exception for a P2.
Ooh. Do we get to pick the movie, or how's that work?
Yeah, keep it PG, and you can pick it.
All right. Well, I'm a fan of Monsters, Inc.
Okay.
All right, there it is.
There it is.
Listen, great run tonight. So obviously, I mean, hey, a lap sooner when that yellow came out.
I know.
And you'd have been there, right?
Yeah, that last run was some of the most fun I've had in PRL in a real long time. When I got up to P3, it was about 9/10 of a second back from the leaders, and I saw it was just gaining a tenth every lap, and I knew I'd get there. And once I got there, those last 5 or 10 laps, it felt like were just a blast trading positions, and then with Patrick hitting the wall, me jumping in the lead, and then he came back down and got into me, and Marty got up there. Man, it was awesome. A lot of fun.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of fun. Very hot track. Well, speaking of hot tracks, maybe next week could be hot tempers as we go to Richmond. Lots of beating and banging and contact and everything else happening.
Yeah.
What's your outlook for Richmond?
Qualify well, stay up front.
There it is. Qualify well, stay up front. Maybe we'll see you up front here in the broadcast booth next week.
All right, fellas. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Have a good night.
You're welcome. Enjoy movie night.
Bye.
Once again, Brett Adams coming away in the second spot. Third spot tonight, hometown racer Patrick Cowgill talked us through that final run in that battle for the win.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been struggling so bad this season, and tonight I felt like I had a winning truck, and I just made a tiny mistake, hit the wall, and pretty much ended my race.
How tricky was this track overall, though, tonight to be able to battle around and slide around on the razor's edge, in the words of Marty Calvert?
I mean, I love a loose setup. Like, the first 4 races or 5 races, I don't remember where we're at. The first few races, it's been so tight, and I can't seem to figure out the tight setup. So I was loving it tonight, but I screwed myself out of it.
Richmond's next. Your thoughts on that one?
I don't think I've raced Richmond since like 21, so it's gonna be a relearning type situation, I guess.
Any shout you'd like to give here on this one?
Yeah, I gotta thank CTN, MB1, Connecting Cure. I gotta thank you guys at RaceSpot, the guys at PRL, everybody at Whataback, my wifey for letting me race, and congrats to Marty on the win, and sorry to Brett for getting into him there off the wall. It was kind of a sketchy situation, so hopefully he's not too upset with me.
Well, once again, congrats on the top 3 here tonight, Patrick.
Thanks, guys.
Patrick Cowgill coming away in third. Disappointed, it sounds like, in that one. So close to what would have been the victory for him tonight. Instead, he ends up picking up what is his second top 5 this season. Plenty to break down when it comes to things, Derek. Your thoughts on what we've seen break down as we take a look at the highlights?
Oh, lots to break down. I think there'll be some big swings in the points here between the Calvert win and the drop weeks being included. Be lots. The swing of the points will be bigger than some of the swings we saw on the racetrack tonight when people just hit the wall. Man, pit road entrance seemed deadly tonight, didn't it? Just lots and lots of bad luck there. So a great race, a great moment, and there's that contact again. Man, oh man.
Man, oh man is the understatement, it seems, but it was a lot of different contenders up front, a lot of 3 wide racing too, Derek.
Yeah, that in a way was a surprise, not because it's not possible, but just because of, oh, there's that hit there where Sharp lost it. But a surprise is to see drivers were that aggressive here at Michigan on a hot track. To see all that 3-wide racing happening. Here's one of the restarts again. This is where Hillman started up front, and things kind of went haywire from there. There's a big wiggle right there. There's Austin Hunter losing it. In a minute, I think we're going to see Kevin McGarvey lose it in the highlights, and just lots and lots of craziness happening.
That craziness, including a lot of people making mistakes late. Seen 2 hard crashes in the late stages. A lot of side-by-side battling from the top 5 as well. But this battle for the win really heated up from right about this point onward.
It really did. It's back and forth and swapping spots and hitting walls and making contact and draft runs is what it all came down to. There's that contractor. That probably, honestly, maybe cost Brett Adams a better run. And there's the yellow that ends it all. You asked my thoughts for the race, JP, as we watch these replays again. Doesn't the word attrition come to mind? And that's not a word you typically use at Michigan, but attrition may have been the word of the night.
And remember, on August the 7th, we head to Richmond Raceway, the action track for the trucks. That coverage starts 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Catch that here on RaceSpot. We go trucking yet again in the PRL.
Yeah, looking forward to, of course, much tighter racing surfaces. Probably a bit more contact than we saw tonight. Maybe a couple more tempers upset at the end of the race. But a great race as part of that season. Well, now, JP, it's time to move on to Grand Nationals.
Yes, indeed. Welcome, everyone, to the PRL Grand National Series as we get all set to go for what should be an intense 55-minute short track race. These drivers ready to see who's able to get themselves to the top of the board and who's able to survive. This is their midway portion of the season here. Before there's a lot of big speedways to close it out, including Chicagoland, Michigan, Daytona, and don't forget about that finale as well on the schedule in Darlington to decide the champion. An interesting slate of races leading us into what's been an interesting battle for the championship from that first half. Abner Acosta over Zach Kerr is the advantage, 16 points. Then in the lineup, 23 back is Bradley Hawley. Ted Lowendick, 153 points. That's 32 back of your points leader. Ross Cato in the top 5. Jeff Ward all the way back in 6th. And what has been good race, bad race, good race, bad race as of late from the Kentucky car. Jason Bryans also showed flash of speed. Thomas Sink, Dustin Baumgartner, Colton Lane up there as well. Team-wise, meanwhile, how have things gone? Well, Private Label Team Hype, yet again, looking to add to their trophy cabinet. 38 points, the advantage over Whataback Racing TNT. Hyperion Racing and Nexus Esports entry. They're right now 70 points back. Whataback Racing Overdrive, along with W. Rossi Esports and Six Box, are in the 200-point club for the Grand National Series. So with that in mind, 22 entrants here. They were within 7/10 in final practice, Derek. Not a lot of separation from top of the board to bottom for those who took part in final practice.
No, not a lot of separation at all as qualifying is underway here. And this I believe to be Colton Lane we're looking at here in that number 60 Valvoline machine. And Colton, of course, part of Whataback back row. But man, this track is scorching, JP. If you thought the last track was hot, oh, there's Doug Evans up in the wall. Part of his qualifying run. 124 degrees Fahrenheit is what the track is at right now. This is going to be hot. It's going to be slick. It's going to be wild. It's going to be crazy. Even maniacal at times might be a good word for this race.
It's going to be curious if it separates out with long runs or it becomes an attrition fest. We see a lot of people, when it comes to close quarters racing, seem to go more so with the fender grabbing variety. We'll see what happens tonight. Ted Lowendick amongst those yet to set qualifying times. Right now, in session, He's been able to average 23 ones. That's about top 10 speed. That would also get him around 6th to 8th position. He's able to do so again. 22.9. That's an improvement from his practice, but only 4th quickest.
Here comes Thomas sinking that 48 machine around the track here. Wants to put a time up on the board. See what he can do with it. And 23.068 for Thomas. That's going to put him on the board there in P8. So nice run for Thomas Sink. And Bradley Hawley now, the winningest driver in all the PRLs done. Sorry about that.
Yeah, Jose Medina was bottom of the board in final practice. He needs to get a little bit more confident on the brakes, possibly. 23.4 last time by. That's not going to do it. As others trying to get some practice in by mowing the lawn, Bradley Hawley.
Yeah, Brad is being a little crazy out there, and he just really going to have some fun here. See, Bradley, of course, this week's got the purple lighting to match the purple. Can we get that's not a lava lamp up there, is it, JP? What is that? I don't know, but there you see, there's the other half. That's that webcam attached to Bradley's head. You can see it's hard to see the screen this week, kind of whited out, but that's what Bradley sees live in the moment. Here's Nathan Deering, by the way. This is a new webcam for us, I believe.
Yeah, he's got the VR headset all gathered up and ready to go. Of note, Hawley did not set a qualifying time. He ran out of time. You've seen the checker flag start to display. He ran out of time on the buzzer. Deering did not get to qualify either. Let's take a look at the lineup. Abner Acosta on the pole. Richard Regan Jr., he's back tonight. He'll start in 2nd. Jeff Ward in 3rd. Ted Lowendick, Daniel Knight, and James O'Brien, your top 6 this evening. They're all in the 22-second bracket. 23-second bracket, Doug Evans, Thomas Sink, Jeff Evans, and Colton Lane. Dustin Baumgartner and Ross Cato, top half of the field. Trigger Morales starts off 13th. Adam Zemke, J.C. Evans, and Jacob Dunn in 16th. McLaughlin and Medina 17th and 18th. Rest of your starters, Dalton Gaillard starting off at 19th. No time set for Hawley, Knight, or Nathan Deering this evening. And so, Richard Regan Jr. should make things interesting tonight. 2nd fastest in final practice. There's your track conditions, your keys to win.
Oh man, it's going to be both being careful with the brakes and careful with the gas. Both. It sounds weird to say it here, right? But you need to be careful on both pedals tonight. The driver's able to kind of manage these corners the best and survive the wrecks will likely be your winner.
And talking about the news, you touched upon the trucks getting longer races and the trucks having a different start time. There was a caveat, Derek. There is going to be no more Grand National competition. It's now being merged into one with trucks next season.
Yeah, so at least for now, this may be the swan song for the Grand Nationals. Who knows? Things change in the PRL, and maybe these come back at some point and make a run again. But the focus for PRL for Season 4, I was told by one of the admins, is to have full fields. And so if that means reducing a series or two and realigning, that's what they want to do. And I'm excited to see a longer truck race. Imagine how much more fun that truck race would have been if we'd have had another 15 minutes or so on the clock. So at least for now, these guys out here in the Grand Nationals are battling for everything. And I don't know. There's a lot of talk about how many of these guys will come down to, or I shouldn't say come down to, but sign up for trucks, and how many won't. That's the big question.
Jose Medina, by the way, has already parked it for the night after the qualifying session in the starting grid. Who do you think this race will go to and why?
Man, that's a good question, isn't it? Yeah, this is going to be just a battle of attrition, I think. Maybe someone gets lucky here and survives a wreck. But I don't know. I mean, I'm going to say, listen, a name we haven't seen yet this season, Richard Regan Jr. is back on the board. Some of us may have predicted that. So I'm going to say Regan does well here at a short track.
The 2023 champion when it comes to the style of racing and one of the winningest drivers in the history of the PRL on the oval side. Acosta ready on the inside. Happy with us, PRL Grand National Series action. We're set to go racing for Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park. Green flag is out. We're underway from IRP. And already Regan Jr. to work for the lead.
Well, that didn't take long. Welcome back, Richard Regan, to the lead here. And he is quickly around Abner Acosta and others at the front of the field.
On a side-by-side to start things off as to be expected, Thomas Sink. He nearly hits the fender of the 33. Big slide for Thomas Sink as he goes below the variable banking.
So far, lots of single file racing and people just trying to get in line and do what they can. And you see there's a 41 there, and there's Jeff Evans behind him. That's the Evans father and son duo in line at IRP.
Others like probably Holly trying to make him a lot of lost ground after qualifying miscues. Track position is king. And the 184 wants to be able to find a way to get it back and fast.
There's a great battle right here. That's going to be good battle there. Nice battle off. Here's Bradley Holly on webcam. Going to dig to the inside. This track is so challenging, JP, because really there's two parts to this. And it is a very, very short track. The first part's getting on the brakes correctly here into the corner. The second part is being very patient about when you finally step on the gas pedal to get out of the corner.
And right now, Holly is showing that patience, trying to find a way to stay in a bit of clean air, so to speak, rather than wrapping the top and burning up the right front tire. Good skill set. And you're seeing why it's one of the top drivers when it comes to the history of this series. Oh, trouble! Morales caution flag.
Yeah, big inside, hit the wall on the front straight. So that's going to be our first yellow, and that car is done. It's got the telltale gray and white smoke coming out the back of it.
Lots of control hearing for the 23 car. Here's a look. There goes the control.
Yeah, and I'm guessing if we had an onboard camera for that car, JP, it's just what I talked about. I'm going to guess he got on the throttle a little too soon and those tires spun around, and so did he.
So the field gets bunched up here. Here's a look on board of Morales. He was carrying a lot of speed.
Oh, big hit there.
So the field already caught up to the pace car. No pit stops with it being so early. Now keep in mind with the race distance, fuel might be a thought process for later. We'll see really how many laps we get depending on caution flags here, Derek. But making it the full distance, it's going to be borderline and depends on a lot of yellows possibly compared to, say, a truck race.
And I agree with you. That's exactly a fair point. That it will matter on the number of yellow flags as far as, if we need gas. I think the bigger topic will be in the back half of the field will be tires, right? If you're a Richard Regan, an Abner Acosta, a Ted Lowendick, track position is way too important to take new tires. But it's picking a couple random names, an Adam Zimke in 14th, a Nathan Deering in 16th, a Jacob Dunn, a Dalton Geyer. If you're in the back half of the field, you might want to put new tires on it and to see, what you can make happen later in this race. But you're right. If you're up front, if we get another 2-3 cautions, you might be able to stretch this on fuel.
So it's going to be interesting as well how the restart goes here. How do you approach this restart?
Oh, I don't know. It's so tight and so fast about when it happens here that you just have to be on the throttle and ready to go if you're Abner Acosta, and you have to watch when Regan jumps. But the more important part for me, I think, for Richard Regan, is you wait until the last possible second to go and bunch up the field.
There's 50 minutes to go on the clock, so we've burned about 5 minutes so far. Expecting the one to go here in the next moment or so.
You know, it's sort of weird to see this, isn't it? Of course, you know, Regenboog Motorsports and sort of had a moment where they thought maybe they weren't going to return to PRL for this season. And of course, here's your team leader, Richard Regan, back, you know, in the car, leading. It's kind of like he never left.
Yes, indeed. So, Regan Jr. getting ready in control of this field. So we get ready for the one to go signal. Abner Acosta holding on to second spot as lights are out on top of the iRacing pace car. Field having to sort themselves out here. Good run so far for Jeff Ward. He's still in the top 5. Daniel Knight the same as they prepare in row 2.
Well, let's see what happens here. Let's see if Regan can jump here. Of course, Abner Acosta, no slouch when it comes to restarts and races and winning. But Lowen Dix up here, Jeff Ward and others are in for a battle.
Pace car is off. Regan Jr. in control. Restart zone all the way on the straightaway. Green flag is out. He's already clear. And the battle is on to try and get clear to the corners. Side by side already. 3 wide in the back. Believe that might have been Bradley Hawley and Baumgartner in the back of the group. It stays 2 by 2 at the front. There's the 3 wide again.
Oh. Remember, we saw this a couple weeks ago in the trucks as well. The trucks had their run here 2 weeks ago, and we saw some 3 wide in that moment. And I was surprised then that we saw 3 wide racing, and I was at night. Now at daytime with less grip, I'm more surprised they're pulling it off. Oh, there went Ted Lowendick. He's having a bit of a connection problem. Just sort of reappeared there under Abner Acosta. But man, they are letting Richard Regan just pull away. Now the problem for Regan at a track like this, JP, it won't be long under green before he finds lap traffic here at this very, very short track.
Well, back straightaway, Baumgartner slams hard on the wall. No caution, we stay green. You see him pummeling down the pylon on your screen as the front runner single file out. The 16 is now out.
Now watch this, got it loose off the, my goodness, off the, what's gonna be turn 2, and then there's that big pop of smoke. He's now done. I'm not, maybe he had contact with Colton Lane, I'm not sure. By the way, there's Ted Lowendick again with connection problems. That's gonna have to be something they're going to solve quickly, because at a short track, that's going to unnerve you a little bit to not know where he is. But right now, it's Regan. Hold on, caution's out.
Cautions for Nick McLaughlin this time. Battle for 13th position. Puts us under yellow. And the second caution already, Derek. Here's why.
Take a look at the RaceSpot replay machine, and nope, just got tagged there from behind and got it looped around. Not, yeah, him and Zimke, you might have a different opinion about who hits who there, but regardless, got it saved. So the caution comes out, but no big damage to Nick McLaughlin.
Didn't need to really be the caution, just the more than 45-degree angle causing the caution this time. But this is going to be helpful on the mileage. Already estimated to be 115 to go, and that's going to reduce significantly. Pit stops at the back of the field, by the way. McLaughlin for Deering, JC Evans, and Mike Knight, everybody else keeping their track position.
Hey, listen, why not? If you're already in the back of the field, what do you have to lose, right? You put new tires on. If this stays green, maybe those tires pay off. Maybe you get a couple more passes in. Or you top up the fuel, and now you have more confidence about, you know, the end of this race as it stands right now. So see the field's moving down here for the lucky dog coming high, and there it goes on around. And sort of, I want to bring the storyline. What's interesting about this race right now as it stands, JP, one of the issues that RBM had last season was fuel saving. They always kind of felt like they were not as great at fuel saving as Wadaback and the other teams here in the Grand National Series. And isn't it ironic that Richard Regan's leading a race where fuel saving might come into play?
Yeah. And not bad at all with what we've seen from his speed so far tonight. Again, once you maintain the control in this field, it's hard to give it up unless you get a long run together. We know Acosta's great on the long run, though, Derek. The thing is, will he get the run he's looking for with how it's looking?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, well, will we get the long run, right? And what does that do to your mentality as a race car driver? It can really eat at you as a driver when we have these short 5, 6, 7, 8 lap runs at a time where you can't build momentum. It can eat at you, even if you're doing well. Even for a Regan and a Costa, a Jeff Ward, you get mad. You're like, darn it, I want to race. I want to get out there and do something. I want to make things happen. And I wish these guys would stop wrecking so I could have that feeling. But listen, when you come into a racetrack that's only 0.7 of a mile in a day race at IRP, you have to be realistic about what may happen here.
Expect the one to go coming up here. Regan Jr., Acosta, Ward, Lowendick, Knight, O'Brien, your top 6, Sink, Doug Evans, Holly, Jeff Evans, your top 10. And so, the pace is longer, by the way, for those curious, due to the Lucky Dog situation. Nick McLaughlin, 1 lap down, Nathan Deering holding on, but we did get Jose Medina back in the race session. He did get back on a lap. He's 4 laps down after electing not to take the green flag.
Well, hey, listen, with all these yellows we're having, who knows, maybe he'll get back more competitive than he is. But here's the pace car down. Let's see if Regan can hold this lead here about the 43-minute mark.
About 110 laps to work with here. Regan Jr. in control still. Green flag is out. Back on the love pedal and back to the high side goes the 56.
What a great jump there by Jeff Ward. Really got up there into P3 pretty quickly. And now it's under attack by Ted Lowendick and others under him, but doing a great job holding off here. That 17 is loose, spinning, cautions out again. Oh my goodness, that is...
Oh, that just took Jacob Dunn with them. And caution. Yet again, Ted Lowendick, Doug Evans, Mike Knight, Daniel Knight involved.
Man, oh man, what a moment right there that was. I'm not sure if he was just on the gas too hard or just carrying too much momentum from a restart, but just got looped around. Watch it again here. Oh, he got bumped. Oh, he got bumped by Lowendick. And he's going to spin around here in the middle of the track. And oh, yeah, Jacob Dunn stuck in the middle. You called that correctly. Nowhere to go for Jacob Dunn. That would have come up instantly on Dunn. I don't know if he could have done anything, JP, to avoid that wreck.
Lee Medina might have lost his Lucky Dog opportunity with the contact there as well. So we are back under yellow. Was as quickly as we were before. You know who's up to 6th, by the way? Bradley Holly is up in the top 10.
There's your Lucky Dog for this run, by the way. Nick McLaughlin going to get to go around outside to put a lap back. But you're right, Bradley Holly up to P6 after starting in the back of the field after not putting a queue time in. Having a great run. I told you one of your keys for victory was avoiding the wrecks, and you'd surprise yourself with how well you do.
What goes through your mind when you have precautions like this right now in a race like this, Derek?
You have to have something to calm yourself a little bit, right? Whether it's just a little bit of music in your ears, a friend to talk to in your Discord, or your TeamSpeak, or whatever voice chat you're using. You have to have something to kind of just keep you calm, but also keep you focused. It's really easy when you get to your 4th or 5th caution of the night to break that focus and start talking about other things, TV shows, the Olympics, gossip about other racers or whatever you have. And it's easy then to go, oh my gosh, we're going green, and to break that focus you have. But you have to find something to kind of keep you from being annoyed by this, because some drivers don't really appreciate all these yellow flags. In fact, I'll just say it right now. I'm sure if we talk to Bradley Holly, he has said very publicly before that he's not a fan of all the yellows. He thinks it can be better. So I'm sure right now Bradley's just kind of talking to himself saying, guys, we're better than this.
And now, a few more pace laps before we get things ready to go. James O'Brien, he's one of the drivers that is going to be dealing with a lot of damage the rest of this run, though. He's got a lot of nose damage.
Yeah, the good news in a way for him, although it's not good news you have nose damage, it's good news that we're at a short track. We're 0.7 of a mile, and I don't know that that nose damage would hurt him as bad, you know, as it may be in the next couple weeks at Michigan or Daytona or Chicagoland. He could probably still be a very competitive car. Now, the problem he may have is keeping that car cool. See how bad the damage is. Because if he keeps that engine starts running hot at a short track, it's way harder to get that thing cooled down.
So, doubled up yet again. Under yellow, coming around now to 39 minutes now to go. Less than that now. Regan Jr. in control. Abner Acosta second, Jeff Ward in third, James O'Brien fourth, Sink and Hawley your top six. Green flag is out, and Regan Jr. not as good of a launch, but still gets up to the high side.
And the better story might be the launches that Jeff Ward is doing. Now he's going to be side by side with Abner Acosta, just got behind him there. But Jeff Ward's having a great run time after time here. Oh, James O'Brien way high.
Yes, indeed. Here comes Thomas Sink. He's trying the inside. Hawley prefers outside.
Yeah, there's Sink and Holly. There's her teammates over at Whataback Racing here. Doing a great job. You see the screen there from Bradley Holly. What he sees in that monitor is watching the car in front of him. Being told there's a car inside per whatever spotter system he's using. And almost makes contact with James O'Brien.
Hawley seems to be one of the fastest cars on the racetrack, though. He is just as quick as your leader in traffic at the moment.
Yeah, doing a great job here. Of course, the problem of being faster at a short track is getting around everyone and making that matter. But here's Holly on the bottom now trying to get around James O'Brien.
Looking from his viewpoint. And you see, just keeping steady. He's right on the chip, too.
Yeah, in fact, maybe he's shifting there, in fact. Let's watch it again. Watch his odometer here.
And yeah, all the way down to the bottom of the revs.
Wants to get himself a great launch is the reason for that. Wants to get a great run off of the corner so that he can get a little bit more acceleration to his opponents, and that may be what's causing him to have better laps. Last time by Bradley Holly a 23.776. That is equal to or better than everyone in front of him.
For those curious, by the way, Jacob Dunn, who is involved in one of the most recent cautions, he's got the freshest 4 tires in terms of pit stops taken so far. He's up to 7th.
Yeah, Jacob's teammate list tonight. His teammate James Morgan was not able to attend tonight's race, using this as his drop week. So Jacob's out there representing that team alone. So if they want to be relevant in the team points, they're going to have to, he's going to have to, really represent well here and make it happen. So we'll see what he can do here, the Alabama native.
Yeah, so far, just in front of some of the others on his strategy, like Daring and Knight as well. Holly yet to find the way to crack the puzzle of how to pass O'Brien. The inside, able to get alongside, but nothing doing to get fully by unless you're on the outside, it seems now.
Wow, I really thought he was just going to slide up there and tap the back end of James O'Brien, but they both kept under control. And it almost feels like the way to pass here is to hope your opponent makes a mistake, because I don't know how Bradley Holly's going to get around here otherwise. He's trying everything possible under the sun, but all he's really doing is letting Thomas Sink, Dunn, Adam Zemke, and others get closer in his mirror.
Yeah, right now, if anything, the more they fight like this, the more this is going to hurt both their cars' tires, you'd have to think, correct?
Oh, at least it's hurting Holly's. You know, this might be the preferred line for O'Brien. He might not be as bad, but he's about to get past here. But O'Brien may be in a better spot than Holly. Now they're 2 wide behind him. That's Sink, that's Dunn, and others back there, 2 wide racing.
Dunn still trying to find a way to go. Dunn with this battle. Trying to finish it up quickly with Thomas Sink.
Almost got a little bit of a Dunn in the back of the car there from Nathan Deering. Almost like a bump draft at IRP. There's something you don't say every day, but a little nudge there as Nathan Deering wants to go. And Dunn wiggled it into the top lane right in front of Adam Zemke.
All the fresh tire drivers are bundled up right behind the green 48. What goes to the driver's psyche knowing you're on fresh tires, but still can't find a way to make the move yet?
I mean, I think hopefully you're patient here and realizing that maybe you don't need to use those fresh tires yet. Maybe another 10, 15 minutes when tires are really worn out. That's when you may find that you have the advantage. But right now you don't. In fact, Dunn now under attack from that car on the bottom. The car that got loose last time by. In fact, that's the car that was involved in that wreck, I believe, of Daniel Knight. He's missing his front end.
Yeah, a bit of damage. Deering nearly climbing over the back of Sink's car. Able to defend Dunn at least. But that 4 does not seem like it's comfortable.
I mean, it's hard to think you're comfortable out here at all in this track. It's, you know, said 0.7 of a mile. It's 120 some degrees on track. There's 21, 22 cars on the track. There's no peace and quiet. But now look at this Deering making the pass on the bottom of Thomas Sink. A little bit of rubbing there. Just sort of trying to rattle Thomas Sink. And then gets on around.
Well, not yet fully, but able to at least get alongside. Yet again making contact. Deering using up Sink here to try and get this pass done.
Yeah, and you saw Sink had to check up there, and that's what caused Dunn and others to almost get in the back end of Thomas Sink. So it's an awful accordion effect there. And there's Knight. Now they're 3 wide through the corner. Dunn up top, Knight on the bottom, and everybody makes it through.
Deering parked the bus. Sink didn't appreciate it. Sink got the worst of it. And Thomas Sink is moved all the way back to about 9th position. And now is under attack by the fresh tires of Zemke.
Listen, I told you earlier that front end damage for James O'Brien may not matter. Well, that's going to be pretty evidenced by the fact that Knight is still up here running where he is in P8, really missing a front end on that car. So obviously aerodynamics not as big of a detail at a short track.
Doug Evans, keeping an eye on him. He is still in 11th. He's kept the car without damage. Now looking to get around Thomas Sink.
Yeah, Doug's had some moments of brilliance here in this season and had a few moments where it wasn't his fault. So just trying to salvage a season here, what may be the last season for a while. The Grand Nationals here in the PRL. And Doug trying to come on around here. I suspect we'll see Doug and his son Jeff in the trucks next season. I've not asked either one, but I suspect they'll both be excited to race the trucks for 60 minutes next season.
Yeah, there's a lot of conversation about it, especially in the past few weeks on that. Dodson Geyer, by the way, he's right now amongst those at the back. These are the drivers at risk pretty soon to be lapped. They're half a track back already to Regan Jr.
And that's the problem Regan Jr. is going to have with this staying green, right? Is it's all fun and games to lead the race until you start to navigate lap traffic, and it becomes more and more difficult to do so. But there's the battle up front, as much of a battle as it is. It's Regan Jr., it's Acosta, it's Jeff Ward, it's Bradley Holly, your top 4. You see them all right there in your camera shot. There's a nice sizable gap between all 4 vehicles.
Looking back to Nathan Deering, only known for some of his road course skill than anything else. He's been able to power his way to the pack, now looking his way for the top 5.
You see him there in the VR headset. Not even looking at the monitor. That's one of the weirdest things I think for people to understand. When you're on VR, no monitor needed. He's just sort of staring into his computer case, but he doesn't know that. That headset will block the view of that RGB lighting right there, and he's just sort of, no monitor, just sort of driving away, having fun.
I kind of can't tell, though, based on the setup, if he's got it set up on top of something just to show how it looks, or it almost looks like he's got it set up where he's trying to peek around a corner rather than...
It does, doesn't it? Yeah.
Than on a normal setup.
By the way, of note there, I want to point out for Nathan Deering, just for something fun to see in his webcam, not using the typical VR headphones there, JP. If you notice, he had a separate headset and a microphone on besides what you typically see from like an Oculus or other headsets. So Nathan opting for the third-party headphones.
Hey, sometimes it's better, sometimes it's not. If you have a good headset, why put it to waste?
Oh, I agree. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because a lot of people will tell you that the microphones included in the Oculus or whatever VR headset you choose are not always top tier headphones. I think it's putting it nicely. So you got to find something new anyways. But here, looking on track, that's Nathan Deering in the 4. That's the man we just saw in VR. He's he's hopefully, if you're Jacob Dunn, under attack in a few laps here. This 4 car versus the 3 car. So we'll see if this plays out anything. 28 minutes left. Now we're starting to go green, JP. I'm starting to doubt right now in this moment if everyone's good on gas. Who hasn't pitted yet?
Yeah, 53 laps into the run. Expecting to still go another 70. That's going to be pushing it here. It's going to be very close.
This may be where it pays off to be like an Adam Zimke or a Jacob Dunn or other drivers up here. And Nathan Deering, a Daniel Knight, who have pitted on one of those yellows, they're going to have more gas. Even if they have to pit as well, they can end up spending less time on pit road than the leaders. Man, speaking of that battle, there's JC Evans and others right there. That's under attack by the Home Depot car. That was Ross Cato.
Going hard to the wall, Evans now. He's bouncing off those walls on the right side. That's not going to help his car.
No, he's getting a little bit of help every which way he can, right? Ross Cato helping him out a little bit. Got that yellow car behind him and just wiggled really hard. Then that's Nick McLaughlin back there in that yellow car. Yep. And he wiggled it himself. But right now, I mean, poor JC Evans is under attack in every way possible. Ooh.
Nick McLaughlin.
That's a wall there, Nick McLaughlin.
Yeah. Getting a bit bold.
Man.
Just no place to go.
I can't tell if those bumps are because he thinks it helps or if he's just frustrated or what it is. He's just trying to move him out of the way, maybe. Use the chrome horn, if you will.
Yeah, not quite sure yet. But right now, they're all still bundled firmly together. JC Evans getting tight. That allows McLaughlin through.
I allowed Ross Cato to get up to the top here and maybe feel more comfortable. I think the top line is probably the preferred line here because you can get on the gas a little sooner and you can have a better transition out of the corner than you can from the bottom. Look at it. Cato just passed easily right there around JC Evans on the top side.
Yeah, and this is one of those racetracks with a lot of history over the years. But the history on the sim side, JC Evans to the wall. He's in the grass, no caution.
Yeah, no caution out because he's off the racing surface. So as long as he stays down there, keeps it green or keeps it running, we'll be okay. But a big moment there for JC Evans.
1 second of fall off, by the way, in the pack. Not as much as some may have thought. Not a lot of fall off for the 1 second bracket so far.
Yeah, and you were going to talk about the history of this track. In real life, it's had a lot of history. A lot of great racings happen here in real life. My first memories of Grand National racing was watching the Grand Nationals at this track, during Brickyard weekends and seeing the Grand Nationals run here. But then the sim side, as you were going to say, JP, I think this track, not exactly on the list of most used tracks.
Yeah, well, looks like Holly's pace has fallen off. He's got James O'Brien all over the bumper, looking to pressurize him into a mistake.
O'Brien involved in an incident earlier, had some front end damage we talked about. I said as long as that engine stays cool, he'll be fine. You see he's doing fine right now, trying to keep up here in the battle for P3, or P4, pardon me, as Jeff Ward and Abner Acosta are trying to run down Richard Rica Jr.
24 minutes to go. Still plenty of time. Here on this track, we're averaging about 2.5 laps a minute. Still less than 60 expected laps to go. And O'Brien seems to be trying to peel Holly off the wall.
Yeah, they've all found out apparently the wall is the right way to go, because we're not seeing too much more of the trying to pass on the bottom. O'Brien's going to dig it in here. Oh my goodness, a big dig. Going to try to use up Holly, but backs out of it and has to try to fight it another day.
And again, forced to regroup. Now the question's going to be, when do you pit if you're amongst those not yet to take service?
Oh, you have to wait till the last possible minute, because the penalty, hold on. Man, James O'Brien is using every part of Bradley Holly's car he can to make this pass happen. He's leaning on Holly. What's that old adage, Justin? 8 tires are better than 4?
A little bit of rubbing this time, though, from them. Holly nearly spun it, trying to keep it off the 33.
Yeah, and then finally the 33 might make the pass, but the high side is dominant. You got Holly back there, you got Deering, you got Dunn, everybody trying to make something happen. But James O'Brien is clear for P4.
Took a little bit of rubbing, though, to make that work. Nathan Deering is next up. And he's got Dunn with him. Into the wall goes Deering.
Now Deering's going to try to make the pass on the outside here, but Deering is under attack by Dunn. So the difference here between what Deering's trying to do and what O'Brien tried is if Deering messes up a run here, he'll get passed by Dunn. O'Brien didn't really have that same kind of scenario in his head when he was trying to get around Holly.
Yeah, right now, Deering, just no place to take it. And all the hype has been around Zach Kerr on the Nexus side of the partnership. Deering, he can put up some solid runs. This is obviously his best run on the ovals this season.
Yeah, great run here by a bunch of drivers here tonight. Really keeping us clean than I thought. This is a challenging race. I don't want to underestimate or understate that, because, I mean, this track temp's above 120 on the track. It's a tight track. It's a quick track. You got that little bit of banking involved, so it makes it tricky. These drivers are doing a great job at racing it as clean as they are.
See Dunn trying to saw at the wheel. Deering using a lot of force on his corner entry as well. They have built a buffer on the next pack, by the way, led by Daniel Knight and company.
So you talked about the history of the track. I wanted to kind of talk to you, and then we talked about this during a truck race a couple weeks ago. When this track was built back in 1958 or 59, 15 people went together, and they each invested $5,000, JP, and that's the money we used to build this track originally. So think about what that'd be worth today. $5,000 in 1959 would be worth about $53,000 a piece today. So it's about a little more than a 10x on the money. But I'm sure they've more than made their money back on this track over that time.
I think that's an understatement. At this point, you've made it back, what, 20, 30, 50-fold?
Oh, yeah, at least, right? I mean, you think about all the racing this place has hosted and still hosts to this day. maybe on a much, maybe on a smaller scale than what we did, in the 90s or 2000s when, the Grand Nationals raced here. But yeah, you've definitely made your money back. So congrats to those guys who did that. And remember, this race, holds not only oval racing, this is possibly the most famous or renowned drag strip is at this track. And NHRA races here every Labor Day weekend for their premier event.
Bit of contact from Zemke to the back end of
Third
night.
wide. Oh,
3
Jeff
wide.
Evans.
Jeff Evans trying to stay on the apron, avoids contact.
Right up top of that damaged car. Evans on the bottom. Zemke in the middle was just sort of almost the victim of that scenario, but everyone survived here. Man, the clock is ticking down, but I want to come back to that question you asked before, a little bit of contact earlier about when do you pit. To me, because of the nature of how fast laps are here, you will go, 2-3 laps down if you pit under green. So you cannot afford to pit early, because if you do and a caution comes out, hold on, there's a little bit of contact with Lowendick, I thought. And there's Knight in the wall again. But if you pit early and get it wrong, JP, your race is over, because you'll be 3 laps down when that caution comes out.
And that's why I think we haven't seen anybody even consider it yet. If you come down, you don't want to lose all those points. Lose all that track position. You have to clumb your way to the pack. Green flag stops are a killer here at the circuit. There are a lot of questions actually on the blue cone procedure just because of how tight the apron is just to be able to do a green flag pit stop tonight.
Yeah, there's questions about that. And realistically, the other reason not to stop early is I can't imagine that the gas you would need to finish this race does not justify taking 4 tires on this vehicle. So you're not getting that tire advantage. You're not going to blow by the field because you have new tires on a pit stop here, I wouldn't think. You're probably coming down gas only under green and trying to make it as fast as humanly possible. So yeah, there you go. But here's a look at the front straight. You see where everyone comes around here. You'll see more cars in a moment. We've been green for a while now. So I suspect there are some drivers, like I said, maybe Deering, Dunn, Zemke, or Lowendick, who pitted back on either laps 26, will be the latest for Lowendick. He might be better off on gas. I don't know if he's good on gas.
Nathan Deering, he's trying to get to the outside and make it stick on Hawley. Contact to the quarter panel.
Man, oh man, a lot of contact now. Here comes Jacob Dunn to the bottom, and he's going to make contact with Deering, and they're good. Ooh, that was a scary moment.
A little bit of rubbing in, hitting up the fenders there. Hawley very lucky to not get any damage, though.
I think he's very lucky because that contact would have put a small gap there back between himself and Deering. So now for the moment, Hawley doesn't feel that pressure that he did a moment ago.
And so they have to reset again. It seems like it's an uphill battle just to make a pass right now.
Yeah, this is one of those tracks where when the top line is the dominant line, it's very, very hard to get it passing on the bottom. You have to almost like swing it in there and swing it back out like a good old classic slide job. But those are hard to make happen. I almost feel like the correct way to pass is to wait for your opponent up front of you to make a mistake.
And the thing is, the mistakes have come few and far between tonight. It's not been quite so cutthroat or cut and dry on when someone makes a mistake, you can make the pass. We've seen a lot of cases, somebody makes a mistake, they just are able to defend for the next quarter.
Yep, here's Nathan Deering a little higher on Bradley Hawley there through that corner. A great, beautiful shot from the top of that roof there. Gave us a great perspective and just wasn't able to use it. By the way, JP, we talked about the tires and what they would do this race. The drop off, by the way, from fastest lap times to current lap times is about a full second. Your leader, fastest lap of 23.327, last lap of 24.425. So these tires are wearing off, but just not enough for probably anybody. James O'Brien, by the way, now trying to make a pass on the bottom here. This would be Jeff Ward, the Kentucky native, and this is a battle for third.
Looks like O'Brien's got the edge for the start and finish line at least. Just about clearing on by O'Brien. 5 seconds back of the leader, able to get some give and take from Ward.
Yeah, a little bit of give and take here on both sides. And Jeff Ward here had a great week last week at Kentucky. Had the Kentucky colors on the car last week, showing him off and doing here. And James O'Brien says, hey, that was fun racing. And letting him know he appreciated it. So there you go.
Looking back at the box up, Thomas Sinks joined it. So they are joining on cars. 10 seconds back, you leader. This half a track back in the lead. Deering still yet to find a way around, and here comes Dunn.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised by this battle and how hard it is right now, because I would think if I was Dunn or Deering and I knew that I had the laps advantage on Bradley Holly, don't know if I'd be racing this hard. I might just be waiting for Holly to pit and just sort of not putting myself in danger. But look at that great pass by Jacob Dunn on the outside, as now he's past Deering and got Thomas Sink back there, and that'll clear a spot for Jacob Dunn to clearly be up in P6. This would be his best run of the season, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. It's one of the best runs, in fact, from Dunn all year. Top 6 on the track. And now it's going to be an interesting thing now with the change of scenery, so to speak. Can Dunn find his way around to be the first of the purple cars?
Look at that. Thomas Sink, by the way, has now gotten around Nathan Deering. So maybe Deering's starting to fall off here. Maybe Deering has used up whatever tire advantage he had, because now he's under attack by Jeff Evans. So we'll see what, if anything, comes of that as this clock ticks on. Well, I have to think for people like Richard Regan, Abner Acosta, even James O'Brien right now, tick tock, that clock is counting down, JP, about when you have to pit. I don't think anyone's good on gas. I don't even think the guys who pitted are good on gas, but I'm confident that the others are not.
13 minutes to go, still 32 estimated laps to go.
By the way, for the first time, Richard Regan catching lap traffic. So there's going to be a story to follow now. Regan's up into lap traffic. This may slow him down as he's now getting around the 9 car off camera. On camera, you see Jacob Dunn there still trying to battle with this pack. None of them able to catch Bradley Holly because they're too busy sort of slap fighting one another.
And Jeff Evans has joined this fight as well now. Dunn in the wall, looking tight.
Ooh, almost came off there and got a piece of Thomas Sink. That would have been a bad wreck had that happened. But able to save it and keep it moving here. So now Thomas Sink is around. I'm curious what he does with this, JP. He has been fast with that group, just kind of clawing his way through. Let's see if he can catch Bradley Holly.
Yeah. It's going to be a good question. Deering, Evans, side by side. Jeff Evans still able to wrap around and get the pass done. So all these drivers that have taken tires in this group have burned the cords off the right front, it looks like.
Yeah, it does look that way, doesn't it? Look like everyone's starting to burn off these tires and now becoming treacherous. Well, here's Richard Regan Jr., and there's lap traffic, and there's Abner Acosta. Abner Acosta has used this lap traffic as a bit of a way to close up that gap. You know that we all call Abner Mr. Long Run. Maybe it's beginning to come to light because that gap is closing.
Yeah, lots of traffic ahead. Regan Jr. having to deal with Medina, Geyer, Lane, and McLaughlin in short order. And now we'll see how cordial this traffic gets. Medina already giving up the top.
Yeah, Medina giving the top. Dalton Geyer will be next after this, and we'll see if he's able to give it up here, or see how comfortable Regan is in lap traffic. This is the first time in, what, probably 30 minutes that Regan's had to pass somebody.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a long while, actually. With 10 minutes to go, he is on rails.
Then the question becomes, yes, there's Colton Lane, by the way, as Regan's going to pass him by in a moment. The question becomes, how does lap traffic behave for Regan? And then if any different, how does it behave for Abner or Acosta? Does one of them get an advantage over the other and passing this traffic? See right there, Regan had to pass in the corner, and Abner sort of gets to pass on the straightaway, so he'll close up that gap.
Right on the bumper, in fact, just about. Still 24 laps to go estimated with 10 minutes on the board. Acosta now in full attack mode.
See, I thought for sure was going to get in the back bumper of Regan, but backed it up and is just waiting his turn. Missed a long run, has come alive, ladies and gentlemen. Abner Acosta, your points leader, is trying to make another great day out of this run here at IRP.
How does he do it, though, without contact? How does he make this go and work side by side?
Oh, I think knowing there's traffic ahead, you just wait your turn. You don't need to make contact. You just sort of wait for one of those cars to get in the way. You use them for, depending on your sports love, JP, either a moving pick, a moving chicane, a moving roadblock, a moving, a moving blocker or a linebacker, whatever sport you want to get into. And I think right there, that's how you do it. You don't need to bump him. You don't need to wedge him out. Just wait your turn, and it'll come to you.
9 minutes to go. And Acosta making it clear he wants to try and get better at arc. Now he's trying to move him. He's trying to move Regan Jr. off the quarter panel.
Certainly did. Had to back it up a little bit afterwards. So that's a move you have to be right about, because if you miss it, you have to back up your car and sort of try it again later. Well, with only 8.5 minutes left, there's only so many more laters you're going to get an opportunity for.
Yeah, now it's going to take a couple more laps for him to regroup and close up all that lost time, though. Regan Jr. has to be on pins and needles with Acosta getting better on entry.
There it is. Oh, Acosta got a little lower out of the corner. I think he thought Regan was going to hit the wall, but on the trajectory Regan had here. Look at the bottom of your screen. This is that battle alive here. This is Bradley Holly. He's now under attack from Thomas Sink. This is the battle for 5th right here. That's 4, 5, 6, I believe. That's 5, 6, 7. Holly, Sink, and Evans on the bottom half of your screen. Meanwhile, the battle for the lead up top, JP. I'm impressed by the finesse these cars have tonight at the track. I thought for sure we'd have a couple more looped around, but this has been an incredibly great long run.
Yeah, about half the race under green. And right now, the leaders seem to be ready to go, tiptoeing around for spots. Lap traffic, Nick McLaughlin moves out of the way in the top box. Sink still yet to find a way to diamond his way to get to Holly for the 5th position.
Man, Acosta keeps getting so close, doesn't he? I keep thinking one of these times Acosta's going to try just to boop him, just to nudge him, just to bap him a little bit in the bumper and see if he can make a wiggle happen. I think that with Richard Regan, though, you better do it at the last second, because if you give Regan a chance to get back around to you, he has no problem not wrecking you. But if you're gonna bump him first, I suspect he'll bump you back.
Yeah, the bump and run is an art form. You do it wrong. Well, we see the loud way to do it wrong. You want to do it just right. How would you do that?
Well, I think the most important part is when you do it versus how you do it. Because I said, you do it with a couple of laps left. So you get around there and you're done. If you do it now with 6.5 minutes left, there's a possibility Regan gets back to you. And it's not, do unto others before they do unto you, or, treat others how you want to be treated. If you're going to bump and run Regan, he might as well bump and run you back. There's a lap car, by the way. That's going to be new tires, because that's a 68. Cruising through the field. So that because car is not for position. And if you're Richard Regan, you're begging, if you're Abner Acosta, you want him out of the way right now.
Yeah, and he is not getting out of the way right now.
That is Mike Knight.
Yeah, Mike Knight. Not even able to get alongside the leader yet.
Yeah, you're 2 laps down right now. I mean, I know you're trying to race for a lap back in case a yellow comes out, but man, oh man, with 5 minutes left in the race or so, Abner Acosta cannot be happy with Mike Knight. That costs a big gap there. 3 wide with the leader.
JC Evans there. Now Knight gets alongside the overall leader.
If you're Abner Acosta, you sort of hope Knight drives him up the track a little bit, but he didn't.
Yeah, just passed him on the apron. So Acosta loses about 3/4 tenths in that sequence. Still 5 minutes to go. Regan Jr. way up the track. Acosta went up there too.
What a big sin that was by Acosta, just trying to close the gap there and hope something happened.
And Regan Jr. is doing that diamond swooping line in the corners right now, going very straight on entry compared to Acosta, who's still going double diamond.
Yeah, much different strategies being played here, much different lines being used, and everyone trying to work it out here in JP. I would say with the shorter caution laps, we're probably, what, a minute from the point of no return?
From what we've seen tonight, might be within the next 30 seconds. Any caution around the 4-minute mark onward should just about end our race here. And Acosta has closed the gap to about 2 tenths. He's closed the 10th per lap the past 3.
So, if you're right on board with Abner Acosta, let's come back to the question you asked me a few minutes ago. You said, how do you do it correctly? Well, right now, the window's open. You could do it now because you have to account for the caution ending the race that could happen anywhere on track. But how do you do it? In my mind, you wait until probably right about here at the exit of the corner, and you just bump that rear bumper. Bump it smaller than a bump draft. You're going to try to wiggle the leader, and you're going to try to get up under him and get past as fast as humanly possible. Remember, it's a bump, not a slam. If you slam Richard Regan, you'll wreck him. That's not the goal of the bump and run. The first word is bump, after all.
Yeah, you don't want to make enemies for the win regardless. But with 8 laps to go, Acosta may need to get the elbows out. They are reaching lap traffic too. And depending on when they reach any more traffic, that could be the game changer too. They are 10, 15 car lengths back of the next pack.
Yeah, so we'll wait and see how that plays out or what effect it may or may not have here, because I think Abner Acosta is going to need some help, honestly, JP. We've seen here tonight that passing is just so difficult at this track that I don't think Abner can do it without something in the way to kind of help hinder the momentum of Richard Regan Jr.
Acosta's been getting razor's edge tight right up to the wall in turn 1 in particular. Right now, Regan Jr. is still getting better runs from the high side. Acosta still can't get there. 2.5 minutes underneath to go.
Yeah, so right now you see Acosta gets there in the middle of the corner. He's sitting into the corner harder than Regan is. But then the problem is that then Regan gets the better launch off of the corner. So it's a zero-sum game at the end of the day. And man, Acosta keeps just barely scrubbing that wall. Like, that can't be the goal. Now he gets way up the hill there in that corner. But it looks like he's just practicing for that moment he decides to send it in there and tap that bumper.
Under 2 minutes to work with. About 5 laps to go, give or take. Does it look like they reached the traffic? Acosta scrapes the wall again. He's losing ground at the wrong time.
Yeah, and as the time ticks down here, it's less and less likely they're going to catch lap traffic, which is, as you said, so now it's going to be just this pure battle right here for these 2 cars. Nice to think Acosta might be waiting to make that one desperation attempt. I mean, Acosta race is very clean. You know, there's a lot of different opinions across the community, JP, about a bump and run. I think old classic NASCAR fans believe it's a valid move. Maybe some newer fans are against the contact, but to me, there's nothing wrong with a little bump and run.
Yeah, but you can't do it from 4 car lengths back. That's not a way to make a popular move. You need to be within a car length if you want to even try that move.
Well, here we are.
50 seconds.
After saying less than a minute, this private label team hype car has been trying to run down Richard Regan, who I'm pretty sure has led every, if not almost every lap here tonight. Regan's just dominant here at IRP.
This is going to be close on time. How many laps will we get here? Will it be 2 or 1 to green? 1 to go, should say.
Well, JP, I believe now we found the answer. There's a white flag. But the answer we found, everyone's good on gas. No one pitted. Everyone can serve appropriately, looks like.
Richard Regan Jr. needs to hold on for one more set of corners. He's been outright dominant today. 121 of 121. Through the final corner, Acosta can't get up there. Richard Regan Jr. goes flag to flag and wins it at IRP. Outright dominant, the RBM machine. Thomas Sink able to get to 5th, trying to get to 4th for the end.
Right, indeed, and he really got a nice battle. Here's a battle in the back of the field. That's Jacob Dunn and others.
And in the end,
think. Go, sorry.
14 on the lead lap. What do you got to think?
I was gonna say, when you think when it comes to Regan, what's that line from the Who song? Meet the new boss, same as the old boss.
And he gets to burn it on down here tonight. Richard Regan Jr., your race winner by about half a second in the end over Abner Acosta.
Great run by Regan, just dominant here. And IRP does a great run, great battles, great patience, and hey, he fuel saved.
And he burns it on down all the way to turn 4. He's going to try and go the whole track without popping the motor. Think he's getting close already.
Didn't I say something about the gas mileage, by the way, that he still has the gas left to do the old Alan Quickie lap?
He did as long as he could, but he just popped the motor. Let's take a look at the race results if we can then. Because tonight, 22 started, and in the end, grand total of about 20 finish. Richard Regan Jr., Abner Acosta, James O'Brien, your podium tonight. Jeff Ward, Thomas Sink, the top 5. Jeff Evans, Bradley Hawley, Nathan Deering, Ted Lowendick, Jacob Dunn rounds out your top 10 here tonight. Adam Zemke finished 11th, Doug Evans in 12th, Daniel Knight in 13th. Ross Cato rounds out the lead lappers in this one. Nick McLaughlin 15th, Mike Knight 16th. 17 went to Colton Lane. J.C. Evans pit at the very end, 5 laps down with Medina. Dalton Geyer in 20th spot. Bumgarner and Morales a part of the DNF list. That's what we talked about at the runner here tonight. Still waiting to hear from our top runners here tonight. Derek, your thoughts on the race?
Very, very clean race. I think you and I had some concerns coming in about the track temps and how loose the setups in these cars can be. I think we were both a little concerned about, what we would see quality of race-wise, and we were both proven happily wrong, I believe.
We do have Richard Regan Jr. now standing on by. Richard, welcome back to the series. As the phrasing was from Derek, meet the old boss, the same as the new boss, or something along those lines was the metaphor. I think I mixed it up. You got the win. Okay. How does it feel?
It feels good. I really haven't been on iRacing at all since Dover in season 2. So, yeah, it's been a while since I've been able to make my way back to the PRL. But after they announced that they're gonna merge the Wednesday night divisions back to trucks, I figured I might as well pop in for the remainder of the season, as long as I can make them and get what I can out of the Xfinity car while we can.
Well, that's going to cause a bit of a shuffle for the championship, to say the least now. But overall, how was the car trying to battle it out with a Acosta and thinking about the mileage?
Mileage, I mean, I never really thought about it too much. I had Reese on the spotter stand tonight, so he did an awesome job telling me basically everything I needed to know, and lap time and lines. And I pretty much struggled all day in practice trying to figure out the lane, and then I figured it out with like 10 minutes to go. And I think if we would have got a caution during that long run, I might have been able to save a little bit more tire. I started to get a little bit loose on entry, but it's just so hard to pass here, and Abner wasn't able to get next to me. So, but thanks to him for running me clean.
Just for reference, by the way, how much gas was there left? Do you know?
Oh, I got no idea. I never looked.
Just was curious on that, Mark. But on that note, then, anyone want to give a shout out to here tonight?
Yeah, I'd like to give a shout out to RaceSpot for spotting me tonight. He did an awesome job. Mission 22, Neonism Paints. Need a paint, go to facebook.com/neonism. Tell them the PRL sent you. Multiple Sclerosis Society, State Analyzer, everybody at PRL, and you guys at RaceSpot.
Once again, congratulations on the victory and the return.
Thank you.
Richard Regan Jr. returns to the action and immediately returns to victory lane here tonight. Abner Acosta finished in second. He's with Derek.
Well, Abner, here you are, P2, another great run. This will help secure that lead you have for the points title tonight. But how was it out there?
Yeah, it was really fun. I mean, especially going green at the end there, you know. I came in, I had not done a bunch of laps, and actually Richard kind of gave me some pointers right before the qualifying run, and I got pole. So that was good. I was happy with the long run.
So at one point we saw you kind of almost like maybe practicing for the bump and run. You were kind of sending it in there and having to back it up a little bit. You get to tell me, was there a thought creeping in? Did you think about it?
Not a bumper run. Just I'm scared to touch anybody's bumper in this car because it kind of like offsets a little bit, but I definitely wanted to make it good for the broadcast. I definitely wanted to send it really hard, but unfortunately, I think it was with like 3 laps to go or 4. I hit the wall a little bit, and it kind of created more of a gap between us. But yeah, I definitely wanted to send it, but I didn't want to hurt anybody. But yeah, again, good run. It was super close the whole way. I had a lot of fun.
So Richard said he never looked, but I'm going to ask you, how much gas was left in the car?
I also didn't look, but I know when I looked at my fuel calculator, it was saying, I stopped looking because it was saying we were going to be safe 1.5 gallons.
Oh,
so
wow. Okay.
I don't think we were that close that we even had to save or anything, but as soon as I saw it, I never looked, and it was very early that it mentioned that, so I think we were all fine.
All right. Listen, well, great run tonight. We'll see you next week at Chicagoland.
All right. I'll see you guys there. Have a good night.
It's Abner Acosta coming away second tonight. It's been a little bit since we spoke with James O'Brien. He comes away with a podium. James had the battle for that one. How are you feeling about the top 3 for a Team 2-3?
Great. I thought I had the fastest car there at the end, even with all my nose damage. It was a lot of fun fighting my way up there, trying to battle Brad and Jeff.
It seemed like a very difficult race to pass in. You're one of those who succeeded in some of the passes. What was that feeling like in this race with how tricky it was?
So you kind of almost had to pass by bumping someone. I think I did that to Brad a little bit, and the slide job kind of worked here. I did that to Jeff. You just kind of had to stick it, like just be confident with the pass, kind of diamond the corner a little bit more aggressively and just slide it up in there, and just be confident that who you're racing around, knowing that they're not going to do anything too stupid. But there's really no other way around it. I was so much faster than them, and at the end I think we were 10 seconds ahead, so I didn't want to get stuck behind, because once I got clear of both of them, I was tracking the leaders down pretty quick. I don't think I had enough time, even if I got around them a lot faster, because Richard is a lot harder to pass than the others.
Well, next up, schedule gets ready towards the final stretch. Your thoughts the rest of the season for the second half?
I'm kind of doing this series for fun. I haven't really looked at the series. I kind of just join and see what the racetrack is when I join the session, and that was like that today. I said, oh, it's a IRP, and I love IRP, so let me get some practice in. I'm just glad to finish well and clean. I think Chicago's next week. I'm quite a big fan of that track. I love that track.
Yes, it is. Well, any shoutouts until Chicagoland then?
Yeah. You guys, I'm glad that you're broadcasting still. I love when you call races, and along with everybody else at RaceSpot and Private Label, Abner and Richard, we were chatting during the race there. It's a lot of fun, kind of like the old times. And everybody watching in PRL and Ethica, and I think I'm forgetting people. I haven't done this in a while.
Well, congratulations on the run tonight, James.
Thanks, Justin.
James O'Brien coming away with the top 3 here tonight. I'd like to thank everyone for taking the time to speak with us during the top 3 discussions here on RaceSpot. Next time out, we already talked about the truck race. Well, the Grand National Series goes to Chicagoland. That's a 9:30 p.m. start for the coverage for the Grand National Series. Catch that here on RaceSpot, August the 7th. Be sure to tune in for the virtual Chicagoland Speedway. On that note, though, it's time to say goodbye from IRP. From a co-announcer tonight, Derek Watson. For our producer, Hugo Wees, I'm Justin Brent. Say so long. Enjoy the rest of your evening. You've been watching the PRL Trucking Grand National Series here on RaceSpot. Good night.